Hi, my name is Emmanuel Alvarez, and my project focuses on using music-based interventions with Alzheimer's disease to improve mood and the patient-caregiver experience. So, according to the Alzheimer's Association, it's estimated that 5.5 million people in the US live with probable Alzheimer's disease, and at this rate, these statistics may increase to 16 million by the year 2050. Alzheimer's disease is the fourth leading cause in elderly deaths, with heart disease being the first and cancer being the second. Autobiographical memory is a person's recollection of episodes of their life, so a decline in this can lead to confusing a patient's memory, a decrease in self identity, emotional problems like anxiety and depression, and a reduction in self well being. So the current pharmaceutical interventions that are used with Alzheimer's disease are galantamine, rivastigmine, and donepezil. These are cholinesterase inhibitors prescribed for mild to moderate Alzheimer's symptoms that prevent the breakdown of acetylcholine. This is a brain chemical that's believed to be important for memory and thinking. This may also help reduce or control some cognitive and behavioral symptoms. However, it often produces side effects that can disrupt patients' well-being, quality of life, such as diarrhea, nausea, loss of appetite, and sleep disturbances. Another intervention that is also used, which can be have similar effects to music-based interventions, is reminiscence therapy. Researcher Bruno K. Kajiyama and his colleagues conducted a form of reminiscence therapy in 2007 that used visual and auditory stimuli. This research design combined old photographs, favorite music pieces of individuals with dementia, which were presented on personalized video channels via a television monitor. The findings were that 91% of the caregivers considered the intervention a positive experience for Alzheimer's disease patients and themselves. 83% reported that Alzheimer patients were more engaged than usual. In situations where Alzheimer's disease patients were agitated, 100% said that the Alzheimer's disease patients were less agitated after the presentation. There was another study done in 1995 that explored an intervention using narratives that were recorded on audio tapes by family members or significant friends, where the objective was to stimulate memories of pleasant experiences for individuals with disruptive behaviors and dementia. Their findings suggested that the involvement of family members or old friends in eliciting memories was highly influential in decreasing disruptive behaviors, even when presented in a simulation. So, what is music-based interventions? Music-based interventions is a form of therapy in which music is used to address the physical, emotional, cognitive, and social needs of individuals. It can also be highly therapeutic when applied as a treatment for clients dealing with grief, loss, depression, anxiety, and aggression. When this is combined with other clinical techniques, music has been demonstrated to be effective in relieving anxiety of Alzheimer's patients. So some of the research that I came across addressed unresolved forgiveness and grief in women. It implemented MBI in biweekly sessions for 60 minutes during a 6-month period. These findings suggested that MBI had a positive impact and a strong positive correlation. It also helped decrease depression and unresolved forgiveness in these women participants. Another study done by Jeffrey M. Warren was titled Rational Rhymes for Addressing Common Childhood Issues. In this study, they used MBI to address common childhood issues within children to promote the expression of thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Through this study, the clients were found to be more relaxed, relate to, retell an event, and re-educate themselves through music. The researcher also stated that the counselors can utilize MBI to provide clients with a personal connection and point of reference when addressing irrational beliefs. Rational rhymes may be effective in helping children overcome childhood issues by encouraging flexible and preferential philosophies of life. However, more research is needed for this. So, further research on MBI on patients with Alzheimer's disease was a study done by Rebecca G. Deason, titled Explicit and Implicit Memory, where she examined reactions of music in healthy older adults and patients with Alzheimer's disease, comparing both groups. She found that both groups took more of a liking to the older songs with and without lyrics than to the spoken lyrics. Another finding was that these patients with Alzheimer's disease showed more signs of recollection and more familiarity during songs with and without lyrics than when the lyrics were spoken without a rhyme or emotion. A second interesting study by Sarah Osman and her two other colleagues was titled Singing for the Brain. In this one, she gathered 10 patients with dementia and their caregivers where they sang along together in a group activity. And they found that these participants felt social inclusiveness, improvements in relationships, memory, and mood, and helped in accepting and coping with dementia. In other words, there was a lot of improvement in the relationship between the patient and the caregiver. So with this project, I was able to obtain a common instrument called the Gain in Alzheimer Care instrument, which is used by memory care centers to measure the perceived benefits of providing family care and focus on the positive aspects of caregiving. It consisted of 10 items that I included in my new questionnaire, which rates each response 1 through 5, 5 being they agree a lot with the statement and 1 being they disagree with it. I also embedded the brief mood introspection scale, BMIS, that yields measures of overall pleasant and unpleasant mood, asking the observer to evaluate the patient's display of emotions or behaviors like lively, happy, sad, etc., and rating that from 1 through 5, 5 being they definitely felt that adjective, and 1 being they didn't at all. This new instrument is developed to learn more about social workers and their experiences using MBI, how they utilize music within their facilities with patients with Alzheimer's disease, and it captures any changes in the caregiving experience. So some of the impacts I believe music-based interventions can have on patients with Alzheimer's disease and dementia, and in the social work field in general, is that MBI is non-invasive. It can be used as a supplemental treatment on top of interventions that are already used. It can improve the quality of life, mental and emotional health, and create a more positive ambience and experience for patients and their caregivers. And I'm hoping with this tool, each facility may be more aware of their usage or lack of music within their programming. Thank you very much for listening to this presentation.